Welcome to 90s Blowout. We're talking big bombshell hair, lots of volume that is going to last through whatever night your client is going to have, right? So with each section that we're going to take about a 1 inch. Now, I do use, I switch between like a boar hair bristled brush, right? But we're gonna go through and add product to each section as we go to get the maximum amount. But if I'm going to actually over direct back and then pin it forward, you're gonna get lots of root lift and kind of that like big wave and that kind of waves forward and is a little bit more glam, which is exactly what we're gonna do. I've got about an inch section and I'm just going to kind of mock my first section and then we're gonna time lapse for you just because honestly, it's really, the sound is hard over the blow dryer. I'm going to blow dry the root area right here in a scooping motion to kind of get all those flyaways away and with a medium heat so that way you're not burning your client, right? And then you can turn the heat all the way up once you work your way to the mid shaft. And then you're gonna go through the mid shaft and you're gonna start in with your curl. So I'll even come from behind and start stretching out the mids and getting that curl so that the mid nice and rounded and beveled out. Once that's 100% dry, then I'm gonna go through and begin to incorporate my ends. And once the ends are kind of all wrapped all the way around there, you don't want any fish hooks, you don't want any fuzzy ends, you wanna really focus all that energy on the ends. And then you want to bring it down like it's a curling iron, heat it all the way up from every angle, even though it's already 100% dry. Now you're adding the heat as if it's a curling iron, okay? They kind of act just like duckbill clips, but they're just nice and simple. So you're just gonna give it a little clip just like that. And then we're gonna move on to the next section. Now the next section, I'm actually gonna start blow drying each section away from her face. So if you wanted to, you could take this second section here and blow dry towards her face if you wanted like to add in more hair to that kind of effect. But you know what? So we'll do 2 forward and then the rest of them we're gonna set backwards in the exact same motion. You wanna create memory in your blow dry so that it lasts 4 days and days. So now that those are set, I did this whole section with product, so I'm gonna like work through these next 2 sections, over directing them forward and clipping them back. And just a quick call out, you always wanna make sure that your brush and your blow dryer are parallel so that this part isn't up and down and then your brush is sideways. You want this part to be sideways and your brush sideways with the hair sandwiched in between, and you're stretching out anything that's curly, anything that's frizzy, you're blowing the frizz into the brush. So the heat stream is always going into the brush, but also angled so it's going down the hair shaft. So we're over directing it forward, working it with the heat. And then once we get the roots and the mid shaft completely dry with the roots going in the direction we want them to, then we address the ends, dry the ends. Once the ends are beautifully dried, we go in, we hook it, and we heat it all up at every different angle like a curling iron. Boom, done, right? Sometimes you could do it in 3, right? Sections, depending on the density of your client's head and how big their head is, right? We can do it in 1 because she has a very small head, but we're gonna do 1 section here and we are going to set it forward. Quickly. Everything is going to be, there's going to be 1 here and then 1 below it. Both sections are going to be over directed up, clipped down. So if I went through and I applied a bunch of hold product all over her hair and it's drying in there, right? 100% dry and 100% where you want it, then see how it like is exactly kind of like the shape and what you want it to do, the mid-lengths. Because now that part's already set and now I'm focusing all of my energy, all of my like smoothing capabilities, everything on that mid-shaft, and I don't have to worry about the root anymore because it's done. And so I'm still over directing, keeping that elevation, making sure your client's chair, which is what I had to do halfway through. Then once we get those ends in, we can really add that curl and that bounce. Just kind of making sure that you loosen it up to really hook the ends in so that there's no flyaways. And if there's a little bit of hair that falls out, don't worry about it. Just lock in that curl, get it all going, and then you can always hold your brush and just kind of incorporate that small little bit once you kind of reach that point in your curling. You're going in and out, making sure that the ends, the mids, and the roots are all being hit. Because even though I'm hitting it here, it's still reaching those ends underneath in the brush, inside of the brush, right? Okay, and then with a quick bada bing, bada boom of a hairspray. And then you can spray each section as you go. I kind of want to just like get it all brushed, get it all together, and then spray when I have it where I want it. So the first two that we did, we start in the exact same order. But look at this. I mean, I can really go in and brush this set like crazy, and it's just gonna bounce right back. So get really, you know, fluid with it and really kind of bring all those sections together. And then if you want to do a certain effect here in the front, you can kind of like get the roots going where you want them. And once you kind of get a little bit of spray, you can kind of like manipulate the curl pattern and start to add in your little setting clips just here at the front. I'm just gently with my hands kind of like manipulating that curl and placing it in something that I feel like looks kind of cool. And then once I get it where I like it, I can kind of set those clips right in at her hairline to kind of just like reinforce that style. So even if I wanted this to stand up a little bit more, I could set a clip right there, and then I can kind of just let this drop down and back while I'm kind of brushing out the rest of this set. This will just help kind of reinforce kind of what I want in that front area while the rest of the set is getting brushed out. And then I'm gonna take out this side so it has somewhere to land, but you can see how all of that hair is just kind of like really trained. I'm just gonna let out this side so you can see like how all of that hair connects together, and the curl pattern, you can already see how it's like can be manipulated to do so many different things, right? So you can always come back up here, kind of reset. Her hair is a little bit heavy, so I might even go in just really quickly like this and add just like a bit of a tease to help those two sections gather together a little bit more. So just kind of like a little bit of a tease, just like at that root area, and a little bit of a lift. So that way, when I kind of set her, yeah, she just has kind of something to kick back against. You can brush it as you go, or you can pop them all out at once like this. But this is obviously the quick and easy way, is just take every clip out. And you can even use your brush and your blow dryer to kind of help. I'll show you what I'm looking at. See how you can still see where all those little partings are? You kind of just use your brush and your blow dryer to break up any partings. A lot of it really is like the combination of the right product, the right amount of product, to kind of give you that longevity and that hold, mixed with obviously when you're kind of over directing the hair and the size brush that you use. All of that is going to work together to give you kind of that bombshell hair. And when you separate out the ends, you'll see a lot more curl. And then if you want to kind of gather it together, you can brush it more. But she's definitely looking like a very glammed out 90s guest model right now. So I'm gonna keep flipping her hair kind of back and forth. Help brushing out the blow dry is that you never want to stop. You want to just keep molding and stretching and shaping and manipulating the curls, and because it's kind of just changes every which way. But remember, I said she's gonna go head banging, hanging her head out the window, right? She can absolutely do anything with this blow dry, and it's gonna last her a week. I can't wait to see all of this bouncy, voluminous hair again. 90s blowout, everybody. And we talked about brushes and tension and even the power of the pre-blow dry. So remember all the steps and just get into a rhythm, get into it, and your client will be telling you how her blow dry lasted her an entire week.